السلام عليكم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما Islam and everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Al-Qur'anic Reflection Institute, and welcome back everyone. Today is this is the mastery series in Tajweed lesson 73. About this lesson we were talking about the previous lesson about the link letter. Now we're going talking about our topic is Al-Inhirāf. So whenever we learn about this in the Tajweed course, if you are with me in the start or in between or now, so you have to go and watch my before lesson in the YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel name is Al-Quran Reflection Institute, where I can teach you about the how to read Quran properly, the pronunciation, the tajweed rules, and etc. and etc. Today we are going to learn about the 73 topic about inhiraf, and the word is inhiraf means a drifting, deviation, and the turning way of the normal. So this is the drifting of the sound, and the letter is the the leaves is lam and lam. So if you have to little knowing about the al-inhiraf, the division, so this lesson might be clear for you all, and if you are not, so being with me in this whole lesson, in this, if you are watching this YouTube channel, so being with me for the full of video. So the word inhiraf meaning drifting, deviation, and turning away from the normal pathway. In Tajweed, al-inhiraf is a characteristics of one of in which sound of the letter deviates and turns from its original pathway, and because of the particular movement and position of the tongue. There is only two letters that have the characteristics of inhiraf is lam and rom. So in this lesson, we were going to learn about the sounds and the two lesson, the pronunciation with this divisionally, and we talk about how we can pronounce these two letters with divisions. So number one is part one is al-inhiraf with lam. Let's begin with the letter of lam. The articulation points of lam is connected to the front edges of that side. If you have to see this tongue, and you see the first edges of the tongue, the tip of the front edges of the tongue comes to the connect with the upper two, or we can say upper front gum area, and near the upper front teeth. Okay, so when we pronounce lam, the tongue touch the upper area, while the pronouncing has a pathway that allow it to flow and along the sign of the tongue. Okay, so this movement of the sound is related to the characteristics of inhiraf, like lam, al, like that. Remember that we have already discussed al-tawasut, and which is the meaning between or moderation, like al-bayjina. In at-tawasut, the sound is neither completely blocked or nor completely flowing, but with it So we are especially focusing on the deviation or turning of the sound pathway. Character production the letter lam. So the correct production of the lam, when we produce lam is the correct part of the tongue. So we have to know that lam is the tongue is elevate, and the roof of the mouth. We have to see the stage, and we have to see that when we say la, li, lu. So we have it's in the most important that the tongue must touch the correct area. The sound should be moved naturally along the proper pathway, and if the wrong side that touch anywhere of the lung, so you should feel and listen the sound properly what you are pronouncing at. Okay, if you feel something like we used to say that the wrong side in the correct part of the tongue, and the pronunciation of lam will become incorrect. For example, we should force the sound from the incorrect side and of the tongue and say that l, al, il. That is the pronunciation of the full word is wrong. Like we have to pronounce like Allahumma. Say everyone knows that right what the pronunciation is totally changed, and the meaning is totally changed when you pronounce this word wrong. So if you have to listen and correct the pronunciation with this, and told your teachers to guide you well, and this is the important topic to pronouncing correct way. The important point is that the tongue must be positioned correctly, and the sound must be flowed in naturally way. And when the produce of lam, correct tongue position, correct content, and correct pathway. So look at this posture. So the blocking area and the air, it would be pronounced by the throat side, passed by the throat side, and the elevated of hair. And you have to see that the tongue, the front edges, and the teeth area, and then you can touch and feel and listen to yourself that how you can produce the letter correctly or not. If you have to see in this note page and the pronunciation in the sound drifting, the letter is lam. So you have to listen to me carefully that the letter lam is produced the middle towards and the two side of the tongue. So due to the streaking or blockage, the area of the front edges, they are touch like that, and the pronunciation is on that way. So you have to focus on that point. You have to do that the running air, and they are pass away on the side, and that a tongue edge, front edge, touch the the teeth front gum side area, and this is the front edges at the gum area. So you have to focus on that way to touch the right pathway, and the pronunciation is the correct. Okay, So let's go to the raw pronunciation. So everyone, let's talking about the deviation in letter raw. So if you have to say in this page, the first posture, the second tongue position, and the raw edges position. Okay. So let's talk about. Now let's move the this characteristics raw. Raw. The articulation point is raw at the tip of the tongue near the upper front teeth and their gum area. So is that means the tip of the tongue just touch the gum area side and you can pronounce this word. If you have to see in this posture, so you know it very well what I'm talking to you. The tip of the tongue approach or touch the appreciate area while the rest of the tongue remains positioned correctly. Like the raw sound is a pathway and allow it to deviate from the tongue and normal path. This deviation is the characteristics known of the Al-Inhirāf, that a running sound is become to the throat side. When producing raw, we must be very careful with the tongue position. If you have to see the blockage area and you knew it, that raw air is producing this side. There must be the correct opening and movement that allow the sound is flow and properly path away. If we block the sound incorrectly, so use the wrong part and the tongue side, so the raw is become difficult and incorrect to pronounce, like ar, they are pronouncing like that. If you are incorrect way and the correct way pronunciation, you have to listen to the some kind of teachers. They are telling about how to use your tongue and uh, how to practice more and more. So if you just touch the, if you should avoid the forcing sound and producing raw from the middle of the tongue, that is the correct position. That is the correct position, and depends on the tip of the tongue and its pronunciation area, like raw, re, ro, raw, re, ru, like that. The tongue must be positioned correct so the sound can be moved and deviate naturally. This is the most important topic, my friends. Lam and raw, they are most important. They are commonly produced like heavy and lightweight, and they are pronunciation many times in Quran with the words. And if you are wanna practice more and more, if you will not practice more and more, you can't properly pronounce these words. So from the lam, a border area of the front edges of the tongue and involve including the appreciate of the edges of the front side. See this picture in the lam division. The tongue makes correct with the upper gum area and the sound move along to correctly and pass way. When we pronounce lam, we say al, like that. The border is the front edges area of the tongue. Let's talk about the raw division. So, my friend, when we're talking about the raw division, uh, for the raw is a main characteristic is focus of the tip of the tongue. The tip of the tongue approaches the upper front gum area, and if listen to me, the sound is flows and its characteristic like pathway flows and the characteristic of pathway like R, R. The raw is the tip of the tongue, and both letters are the characteristics like that, which is the means division and the lifting of the sound from the tongue. Okay, the mouth. My friend, this is Al-Inhirāf. Let's talk about the common mistakes. There are several mistakes that you are avoiding it. Listen to me carefully. Number one, wrong the tongue position. If you touch anywhere and you are not pronouncing these letters correctly like that, so what were people were doing? Using the wrong part of the tongue side and of the tongue and can change the sound. Like raw, they are saying like r, r. They blockish the air and don't pronouncing correctly. And that lam side like that al too much allowing more air to inside. Okay, second mistake is the sound is completely like the sound should not be a necessary stop to force. That for the third is producing raw like from the middle of the tongue. That is the wrong way. Raw is producing from the correct and articulation area involving the tip of the tongue and from the middle of the tongue. The fourth is producing lam from an incorrect side. Make sure the appropriate part of the tongue and make contact with the upper gum area. 5, like forcing the sound. Too much force and exhausting, this is the moment that your word is totally incorrect and your pronouncing is like totally fall. So allowing the sound to flows naturally and pathway. Okay, let's talk about more about inhiraf. When practicing inhiraf, don't focus on only the focus the sound. Listen carefully about the practice way. La, li, lu, al. Ro, ri, ru, ar. Feel where your tongue is touching and noticing how to move the sound. With regular practice, the correct movement will become natural, inshallah.